I made thousands off a side hustle website without ever going to the jobs. Years ago, I signed up for an online side hustle job for extra income. It was mostly for people who needed help mounting a TV or fixing stuff or doing simple work around the house. I signed up saying I had a little knowledge in electrical work, and every offer I received was towards electrical work with some other smaller jobs. First job I accepted was for a clogged tub in some guy's house. I went over with a drain snake and Drano. I paid $10 for everything and got the tub unclogged in 10 minutes and made $120 for it. Next job I accepted was installing an outlet for $250. However, I stayed up late and overslept, missing the job, but I still got paid the $250 expecting it to be taken out. It never did. I accepted another simple job the next day for $60 and purposely missed it, still got paid for it. Somehow I found a flaw in the system and I wasn't going to these jobs but still getting the money that people paid the website. I did this for months, accepting the high-paying gigs and never going until one day got an email saying my account was forcefully deactivated for missing a job, but I never got the money taken out or any emails after that. I didn't try to appeal it because I knew they'd find the other countless jobs I accepted but never went to.
I slapped a nurse who was just trying to do her job. When I was 14, I had to get a minor operation and I was very nervous. That anxiety increased as I was preparing, and by the time I was about to be put under, I was full on panicking. A nurse came up to me with an oxygen mask and tried to put it on me, but I went into fight or flight mode and slapped her. I don't remember what happened after that.
When I was in first grade, I braided boogers into a girl's hair because she was mean to me. When I was in first grade, there was a girl who was pretty mean to me, and long story short, I just kinda thought she was a bitch. She was one of those girls who would be mean to you and expect you to be okay with it and nice to her and whatever. Obviously, now that I'm grown and I work with kids that age, I understand that they can just be that way and it's usually just a reflection of their parents' behavior. Anyways, I don't really feel like what I did was so awful, not because as an adult I still think she deserved it, but just because it's generally just kind of funny and harmless. She let me braid her hair while we were all sitting in a group on the floor watching a movie or something like that. As I braided, I picked my nose and purposely braided my boogers into her hair. I still laugh thinking about it because I've thought it over, and the way the other kids treated me at that age was despicable. Kicking me to the ground on my birthday, not letting me play on most playground equipment unless I agreed to play the ugly girl or boy and pretend, telling me I was lower class, convincing me I couldn't be their friend unless I decided to become a Christian, constantly telling me I was going to hell, breaking into the bathroom stalls while I was using them, racism, etc. Our teachers saw most of this behavior and did nothing, so it really was on them. So my small retribution led to nothing besides the likely possibility that when she got home and her parents went to comb her hair, they were probably like, "What the fuck?" when the comb kept getting stuck in the snot I'd braided in. So I'm kind of proud that I resorted to braiding boogers into a girl's hair instead of violence, prejudice, bigotry, or exclusion like they did. I do feel bad, however, learning that this same girl went on to abuse substance so badly that she's apparently, from what I've been told now, pretty much a vegetable. I don't blame myself for that. My booger braiding was not the reason why she got to that point, and I'm really not sure why it ended up that way for her. I assume she probably fell into the wrong crowd or what have you. I'd never be one to shame someone for that. I have no place to speak, but thankfully I am doing better and recovering. Like I said though, regardless of all of that, I do feel sad to know that she landed in such an unthinkable situation, and I still have empathy for her. I hope she's being taken care of well, and of course, I forgive her for her past meanness. She was nicer in high school. I always hope the best for people. But in a vacuum, I do think it's pretty funny that I braided boogers into a girl's hair when I was like 7 years old. I overcharged over 5,000 people. Back in high school, I used to work the concession stand. In my school, the booth was a little folding table where I would sell water, pop, and chips. To anyone that was a visiting team, I would charge $25, $50 more on the items they wanted to buy, and I would keep it. I ended up making somewhere around $3,000 doing this for my high school career, and no one ever found out because I didn't charge anyone from the home team the same amount.
I cheated to get my bachelor's and my master's degree. Yeah, I cheated. I didn't write any of my papers. I didn't do any of the work myself. I stole a lot of work. Took only classes anyone I knew did and used all their work for it. With minor changes. I made it through 6 years and got to degrees. I got a scholarship out of high school by cheating. I cheated during the SAT. I cheated most of my life and I feel a little bad, but not really. Thanks to a couple real ones for holding it down for me. Wouldn't have made it this far without you. Edit. Yeah, I'm bragging, but I confessed, thanks.
8 years ago, I caused a UFO panic. One college summer break 8 years ago, my friends and I were bored. We remembered a demonstration from a high school science class of a solar balloon. This was just a really thin black plastic bag you'd fill with air, seal, and then set out in the sun. The sun would heat the air in the black bag and the bag would become buoyant and float. We had the idea to find the cheapest, thinnest black plastic trash bags available and combine a bunch of them to make a huge balloon. We spent a few days driving around to Walmart's and dollar stores trying different brands to find the thinnest possible plastic bag and thinnest tape which would work the best. Finally, we took a number of them, cut off the bottom ends, and taped them together into a huge balloon which we filled up with a leaf blower, and then tied the end. After sitting out in the sun for a half hour or so, we had done it. We had to mess around with how the tape was sealing the bags, to use as little of it as possible as the weight of the tape added up, and made the balloon harder to float. This was disappointing, but we made another one and got funny looks from cars driving by and were entertained for a bit. Shortly after that, this new balloon met its demise smacking into a tree and getting popped. Oh well, mission success. A few years later, I happened across this news article. The balloon that got away had apparently blown a town over and caused a big UFO panic. People were calling 911, the police, and local radio stations about it. Our boredom unintentionally created a UFO panic in central NJ. I moved out of the area.